Before we get going, we're going to do a quick group exercise. This is nice and simple. Everybody please grab your cell phone and turn it off. Not just silent or vibrate, but all the way off. If they're actually on at all, it can interfere with the microphone system, both for the audio here in the room and also for the recording on the camera. So please turn your phone completely off. Thank you. If a phone rings during the session, it will be confiscated and given to upcoming speakers in third world countries. Yes?
I will not turn it off.
Please do.
No, I have kids at home by themselves in case something happens.
Okay.
Thank you.
The last time I delivered this program, I made a woman cry. I'm kind of proud of that. Not because I'm a mean guy. Okay, I am, but because the market is meaner. Those of you who are in sales and marketing, those of you who are entrepreneurs or CEOs, know this. The marketplace doesn't care about you until you give it a reason to care. And the biggest reason for business failure is there's no good marketing message that causes people to care enough to want to know more and eventually to buy. This industry sees a lot of turnover. In the National Speakers Association, we see roughly 30% turnover every year. A lot of people get into this business because they think, oh, being a speaker is great, it's easy, I can talk. But it's more than that. There are some great speakers out there who are broke because they can't market themselves. You're all familiar with the adage, build a better mousetrap and the world will beat a path to your door. It's not true. Never was. The annals of history are littered with products that were superior to their competitors and still died because they were not marketed effectively. I want you to avoid that fate. If you choose to decide to become a speaker, I want you to do so with the edge of good marketing. And it starts with your message. If you'll turn your workbooks to the first page in this section, you'll see a page titled Your Marketing Message. This is not going to be a lecture. This is going to be an interactive program. You're going to be working while I'm talking. I want you to leave here with the outline of your initial marketing message. What you're going to do is answer some questions. And the first one is, who are you? Which is not the question it may seem. I'm not asking your name. I'm not asking details about who you are as a person. I mean, who are you as a product? Who are you as an entity? If you're a speaker, then you're the product. Someone's going to be hiring you, they're buying you. What are they buying? So, are you an expert on sales, as I am? Are you an expert in human relationships? Are you an expert in training? Are you an expert in technology, an expert in security? What are you an expert in? Barbara mentioned expertise as one of the 4 E's in speaking. What are you an expert in? Answer that question now in your workbook. Who has the answer for who you are? Yes?
I'm an expert problem solver.
You're an expert problem solver. Okay? What do you mean by that?
I can help people solve any kind of problem they have.
Okay, so you help other people solve problems. Okay, good. Who else? Yes?
I'm an accomplished, credible expert trainer, designer, and coach who increases profit for organizations.
Okay. I would submit to you, Catherine, that the last part of that statement is much more important than the first part. We'll talk about why that is a little bit later. What are you an expert in? Here's the thing. I don't want to hear that you're a speaker. I don't want to hear you're a trainer or a coach. I don't need those things. Does anybody here want to buy a speech? No. People have problems they need solved. They're looking for an expert who can help them solve that particular problem. Which leads us to the next question. What do you do? And it's not coaching and training and seminars. What do you do? I help people increase their sales. What do you do? Take a moment and fill that out in your workbook. Yes. Just share.
I help people make more in less time in any business.
When you say more of what?
More income.
More income, okay? You want to be specific in your answers. Your answers must be definable, observable, and or measurable. So you want to be specific. Vagaries get you nowhere in the market. Who else would like to share what you do? Yes? You change people's living environments. Okay? What does that mean? Can you tell me what that means? Okay. You see why many people cry. Your answer is understandable, and I'm going to challenge you. One of the things that I do on stage is I challenge people, because in order for you to get better, you need to be challenged. That statement doesn't mean anything, does it? A change in living environment could mean being out in the street. It's not inherently positive. You need to phrase what you do in a way that makes somebody else say, oh, I want that. When I say I help people increase their sales, everybody in business says, I want that. If I hear I help people change their living environment, I don't know if I want that or not. What if I like my living environment? So go beyond that. Think, what is it that I do that creates positive change? What precisely does that change look like? Yes? Okay.
I change people's interior living environments by bringing out the hidden desires and needs in themselves.
Anybody want that? I don't know what it means, that's why I don't want it. This is a challenge for us in business. We are so close to what we do, we know so intimately, we assume everybody else knows what we mean. Never assume your prospect knows anything about what you do. Put what you do in terms they can understand easily. When you're testing out your marketing, test it on people that don't know you at all. The more of a stranger they are, the better. You want honest feedback. So you need to figure out how you can say what you say in a way that resonates with people. It has to be something that they really want. They feel they can't live without. Once you figure out what you do, the next question is, how do you do it? Now, this is a little more nuts and bolts. I do it via custom seminars, custom training programs, keynote speeches. I do a little bit of coaching and consulting, but mostly it's work on stage in front of an audience. That's how I do what I do. So how do you do what you do? Write that down. What is the problem that you solve? In my case, the problem that people have when I get in front of them is that their sales aren't high enough. My marketing message is easier than most people's. The less concrete your area of expertise, the harder it will be to define the problem that you solve. And yet, this is absolutely critical, because if you can't define a problem that is solved by what you do, you have nothing to sell. What problems that your prospects have do you solve? Write that down. Boot?
The problem is I need to get some PR, and then there's no problem. Everybody wants to talk to you. They want to listen to you. So what's the best way to get PR is to get on Oprah. So then the problem is, how do you get on Oprah? And what you do is write a bestseller.
Okay, so what are you saying? Are you saying that you're going to help people get on Oprah, or you're going to help people write their book?
I think you're asking me, I'm not asking you're not asking I can't answer for anyone else.
No, I'm asking you, what problems
How do I get on?
do you solve for people?
Oh, I see. I thought you were trying to.
No, this is for your business. In order for you to create a marketing message to put out there to the universe, you have to be able to address a problem somebody has. So what's the problem out there that you are the solution to? Yes?
We help get that product manufactured for the company.
What's the problem?
They need to get the product out to the marketplace. They need it manufactured.
Okay, so they have a product they need manufactured.
We are the manufacturing source.
Okay. What are the problems? Yes?
My company solves the problem of high cost, effort, and time involved in professional development of employees.
Say that again?
My company helps solve the problem of high cost, effort, and time involved in professional development of employees.
So the high cost in terms of dollars and time.
Dollars and time with regards to professional development that an employer spends on employee. That's what I solve.
Okay, so the problem is the high cost, both in terms of money and in time, of professional development for their employees. Okay, good. Yes?
The problem that my company solves is lost time in trying to figure out the technology and repairing issues that they have with technology.
Okay, so lost time and technology issues. Good. The next question is related. Why are you needed? This goes a little bit beyond the problem itself to answer the question, what would happen if that problem were not addressed? So the project problem is not dealt with, what will happen? Why are you needed? Why should somebody bring you in as a speaker or a trainer or a coach? In my case, if their sales don't increase, company goes out of business. That's why I'm needed. Why are you needed as a speaker or a trainer or a coach or a consultant? Write that down. Yes, Catherine.
Ultimately, the business cannot survive. So if I'm not there and I don't do my service, the business won't survive because they'll lose valuable employees and lose the war for talent.
Okay, so lose employees and go out of business. Good. Who else? Yes.
I help companies become more competitive,
Okay. So why do they need you?
reduce waste, reduce cost,
Which does what?
more profit.
Okay. And what happens if they don't?
They may eventually expire,
Okay. So they're going to waste money,
waste time, waste money.
lose profits, lose market share, and eventually go out of business. Okay? What we're looking for is, what are the problems caused by the primary problem that you solve? So you solve a single problem, but that problem, if not dealt with, creates bigger problems. That's what you're looking for. If there's no problem, there's no need for a solution. If you're going to be a solution, you have to define the problem for which you are the solution. Next question. What do people do differently after they've heard you? Barbara talked about this. How do people's behaviors change after you're done with them? Remember, however you answer this question needs to be definable, measurable, observable. In my case, after people have heard me, their sales go up. Their prospecting numbers improve, their closing ratios improve, their profit margins improve. And I have data on this. The more data you have, the more effective your marketing message. So how do people act differently once you're done with them? Do not use words like understand, appreciate, recognize. Those are not observable. They're not measurable. In what specific ways do people's behaviors change? What do they do differently and better once they've heard your message? Write that down now. Yes?
They choose a fitting manufacturing process that
Okay? Which means what?
That they don't need to do multiple rounds of manufactured goods to get the product.
Okay? So how is their behavior changing?
They're making an educated decision.
Is that measurable?
Not in the amount of times that you order a product.
Okay? See, if you're talking about a sales presentation, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about being on a stage in front of an audience communicating a message, which is not the same thing as a sales presentation. We're not talking about marketing a factory. We're talking about marketing you as an expert to speak in front of audiences. Very different thing. So what do people do differently after they've heard you? Yes?
They negotiate more effectively internationally.
Okay? They negotiate more effectively internationally. Define what effectively means.
Lower contract prices if they have to in terms, longer term relationships, better image with other people that they may negotiate with in the future.
Okay? Again, you want things that are definable, observable, and or measurable. So look at those results and create stronger definitions of those. You want concrete, specific examples. The next question is related. What results do you create? This is the aggregate of the individual behavior changes. So the previous question talked about individuals in your audience. This question gets to the results to an entire organization. What results do you create? In what ways is the organization now different because of people hearing you? Write that down. Okay, in my case, when I'm done, the company's sales go up. That's what happens. Customer satisfaction indexes may increase. Profits go up. Those are all definable, observable, and measurable outcomes to the organization after I'm done. What about you? What results do you create? Yes?
A certain percentage of kids, especially girls, interested in IT classes increases.
Okay. When you say interested, can you be specific as to a measurable result? What does that translate into? Because you can't quantify interest, can you?
Yeah.
Do test scores go up? Do applications to engineering programs go up?
They demand more IT classes, and there is a higher retention of girls in those classes.
Okay, so retention goes up. That is measurable. Retention can be observed. Retention can be measured. That's what you're looking for. What's the impact of what you do in a way that's observable and measurable? Anybody else? And I understand that many of you haven't begun this yet, so you can't make statements of this is what I do because you don't know yet. So what you need to do is to determine that ahead of time. What results do you expect to create? What results are you shooting for? You have to be able to make the claim even before you do it. Next question. Why should I hire you instead of anybody else? This is a competitive business. Estimates are that there are more than 40,000 people out there claiming to be speakers and trainers. Some of them only speak once a year for free, but they're out there. And they are your competition. So if I've got 40,000 people to choose from, why should I pick you? Even in whatever it is you do, whatever you speak about, there's lots of competition. Mount Everest climbers is now a category of speakers. I was talking to a friend of mine who runs the Speakers Bureau recently. She was pitching somebody to a client, said he's just climbed Everest, and the guy in the line said, oh, yeah, we had an Everest guy a couple years ago. There are so many people who have climbed Everest, it's not different anymore. There are so many cancer survivors. There are so many winners of all kinds of reality shows. There are so many people who have accomplished anything that whatever it is you do, there are lots of other people out there doing it. Given that, why should someone choose you specifically? This gets to your brand, and we'll talk more about that in a minute. But if you have any ideas, write them down now. Yes, Corinne.
Could you take that, you were just saying, and make it work for you, like you've got all these experts who climb Mount Everest and Olympic champions and all that, and could I say, I'm a real world person for a change with concrete solutions that work?
You don't even want to know how many other people are using those exact same words. You need something unique, something different about you. This gets to your brand. Yes, Mark.
A little better looking?
To make the claim.
I know the answer. You talked about the Mount Everest climbers. The first blind person that climbed Mount Everest, that would be one that we definitely can say.
That's that person's brand, absolutely. That's their uniqueness. So what is your uniqueness? What separates you from everybody else out there?
I have no idea.
It's all right, we're going to get to that. We're going to cover that. And here's the thing. The vast majority of people out there have no idea. Out of 40,000 some odd speakers and trainers, the majority of them have no reason why someone should pick them versus anybody else. Some of them get picked because they're available. Some get picked because they're the right person at the right time. It's luck in a lot of cases. And the last question is, why should I, as the meeting planner, as the corporate VP, why should I trust you? Your marketing is all a claim. Anybody can claim anything. Why should I trust what you say? Naomi Rohde was the president of the National Speakers Association several years ago, and her theme for her year was the privilege of the platform. And the point she made that year was that standing up here on this platform is a privilege. And that when a meeting planner makes the decision to put us on that platform, we have a responsibility. We have an obligation to that person and to our audience. That's what the meeting planner is thinking. Am I putting the right person in front of my people? There needs to be trust for that decision to be made. So why should I, as the meeting decider, why should I trust what you have to say? It might be your credentials. It might be testimonials. It might be something else. What's the proof that you can offer me that I can believe what you say and trust that you are the expert you claim to be? Write that down. Okay, once you have crafted your message, the next issue is, who are you going to communicate that message to? This gets to your target markets. I ask salespeople, professionals, and business owners all the time, who's your target market? The most common answer I receive is, well, everybody. Yeah, exactly, Alan. Wrong answer! Everybody's not your market, no matter who you are. Nobody, no company can market to everybody. Microsoft can't market to everybody. Walmart can't market to everybody. Whoever you are, whatever you do, there are some clients that are better suited for you than others. They're all different ways of breaking down a target market. And I've listed a lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them here in your workbook. One way is by market type. There are several different distinct markets within the speaking and training business. There's a corporate market. There's an association market. And there's an association for everything. If more than 2 people do something, there's an association for it. Government. Local, state, and federal is a specific market. There's a nonprofit market, an education market, both speaking to people who are educators in the school systems as well as speaking to students. And that's everywhere from the primary school up to colleges and universities. And there's a religious market, specifically a religious market. In fact, here in Colorado, there is an organization called the Christian Meeting Planners Association. You can segment your market by type of business. If you're a business speaker, there's lots of different types of business to which you can market. Retail, manufacturing, service, franchises, small business. You can target by industry. Here are a few common big industries: medical, real estate, legal, automobile, high-tech, and network marketing. If you're focused on individuals and careers and jobs, you can focus on job type. So you might do programs specifically for executives, or for managers, for salespeople, customer service people, professionals, teachers. You can segment by audience type, age. Maybe your target market is youth. Maybe your target market is retirees. Maybe your target market is people in their 30s who are between those two areas. You can segment by race. Are you specifically suited for a particular racial or ethnic market? Do you have a message specifically crafted to a particular racial or ethnic group? Or by gender. There are a lot of women out there that focus exclusively on the women's market. They speak at women's conferences. That's all they do. Their products are all created specifically for women. And geography. You can focus just on a particular geographic area. You might focus just on inner cities. You might focus on large cities. You might focus here in Colorado. So these are a few ways. Look at this list and put some marks. Put a check or a circle or a star, whatever you want, by the segments you think you would be best for. Take a moment, do that now. Okay, the next thing is your brand. You are a brand. You are your product. You need a brand. That question we had so much trouble with earlier. Why should someone pick you? That gets to your branding. What differentiates you as a speaker, as a trainer? I work in a very competitive field. I work in sales. There are thousands of experts on sales out there that speak for a living. From people that just started last week to giant names in the industry, people like Brian Tracy, Tom Hopkins, Zig Ziglar, Jeffrey Gitomer. And then there are all the companies, the training companies, that each have dozens of people or even hundreds of people that speak on sales. Like Sandler Sales Institute, Dale Carnegie, Miller Hyman. Given all the choices, why should someone pick me? I'm the sales heretic. I provide original thinking for boosting your sales. I don't say the same things so many people out there say. I will tell you things you've probably never heard before from a sales expert. That's my brand, that's my positioning. That's my stake in the market. That's my little flagpole. So what is your brand? There are a lot of things that might make you different from other speakers. You need to have something. The more things, the better. But you need to have something that distinguishes you from everybody else who does what you do. So it might be your background. Could be your experience. Might be the type of experience you have. Might be the length of your experience. Have you spent 40 years in a particular industry or a particular job? Maybe it's your breadth of experience. Have you held the same job in 7 different industries? Or perhaps have you had every single job within the same industry? Maybe it's a theme. Are there particular words that you use? Do you own certain words? Have you coined certain words? Do you have a unique approach to what you talk about? Do you focus on a particular industry? I mentioned Naomi Rhodey earlier. She and her husband Jim focus on the dental industry. That's all they do. That's their market. And they are the leading experts in the dental industry. Do you have a unique style or unique skills that you bring to the platform? Two guys I know called The Passing Zone, John and Owen. They're great. They're funny. They do team building programs, and they're jugglers. And they have a unique style on stage, and they have some very unique skills. Nobody else does exactly what they do the way they do it. There are other jugglers, but no one does the specific routines they do. No one does the specific things they do on stage. Do you have a unique point of view? Do you have a persona or a character you bring to the stage? Ralph Archibald is the official Ben Franklin of Philadelphia. He makes his living speaking to audiences dressed as Benjamin Franklin. That's his character. Can you create a character or a persona on stage? There's a guy, George Campbell, who has a stage persona named Joe Malarkey. And the brand is, Joe Malarkey is the world's worst motivational speaker. That's a character, it's a persona. And it's a very unique take on the idea of a motivational speaker. Do you have a unique story? Have you done something or experienced something unique? That guy who was hiking in Colorado and got his arm trapped under a rock, had to cut his arm off in order to escape and survive. That's a unique story. Don't think I haven't thought about doing that. There's a joke among speakers that it's hard to make it in this business when you have all four arms and legs. We're all thinking, if only my plane would crash. Oh. So do you have a unique story to tell that others need to hear? So how are you unique? In my case, it's my theme, my approach, and my point of view. Those three things distinguish me from everybody else out there that speaks on sales. What are the things that make you unique? Write down at least one on your sheet. You can fill all 5 lines, great, but at least one. Do that now. What we have just covered is the hardest part of marketing yourself as a speaker. And it's the most critical. If you're not solid on these first 3 pages, the next 2 don't really matter a whole lot. Before you begin to market yourself as a speaker, you need to have concrete answers to all these questions on these first 3 pages. Because you need to be able to figure out who you are, what you do, what results you create, and why someone should choose you particularly, and then know what markets to go after. If you just blindly try to market to everybody, you're going to waste all your marketing efforts. You're going to waste a ton of time, a ton of money. If you've narrowed down your markets, know exactly who the best fit is for you, who you're the best match for as an audience, it'll save you immense amounts of time and immense amounts of money. And if you go to that market with a marketing message that resonates with them, I understand your problem, here's how I will solve it. Here's why you can trust me to solve it, and here's why I can solve it better than anybody else who also does this can. That's an effective marketing message. The way you transmit that message is largely through what's called a speaker marketing packet. Sometimes called a media kit or a marketing kit. It typically contains several items, and they're listed here on the next page in your workbook. The first and most basic is a one-sheet. A one-sheet is a 2-sided, single-page flyer, full color, that is effectively an overview. There's a little bit of everything in your marketing. It's the first thing people see. In many cases, it's the only thing people see. If you would like, I have a template. It's a one-sheet template that lists all the things that should be on a one-sheet and where they should go. If you would like that free, take out your business card, write one sheet on it, and give it to me at the break, and I'll email it to you. I'll also email you my one sheet so you can see what one looks like. Not say that yours should look like mine, it shouldn't, but it'll give you an idea of how the finished product can look. The next piece in your marketing is an in-depth bio. This gets into who you are, how you came by your expertise. Next, detailed program descriptions. And the most important thing in your program descriptions are the outcomes. What will people walk away with? I spent 2 years as the Vice President of Programs for our NSA chapter. I have seen the program descriptions from close to 100 speakers. Most of them suck. Most speakers can't write copy. If your program description is not interesting, if it doesn't grab people, they're not going to want to see it. So you need to write it in terms of outcomes. What will the audience walk away with? And again, those things must be observable, definable, measurable. Next, stories or case studies. How have you helped people? What were the results you created? Testimonials. Testimonials are extremely powerful proof statements. If I say I'm great, it doesn't count for a whole lot. If somebody in my audience says I'm great, that counts for a lot more. If somebody in my audience says, because of Don, my sales went up 30%, that's the best yet. There are two kinds of testimonials. There are the feel-good, pat in the back testimonials. Oh, he was great, he was wonderful. And there's the results testimonials. Here's what happened as a result of this person coming to speak. Get both. Use both. But the ones you want most are the results testimonials. Testimonial letters, the full letter from the meeting planner, corporate VP, or whoever else hired you. Other information that might be relevant about you, about your program, or information relevant to the industry or the meeting planner. Press releases, even if they've never been sent out. Even if you sent them and they were never picked up anywhere, it doesn't matter. Press releases look credible. Articles about you. Have you ever been featured in an article somewhere? Have you ever been quoted in an article somewhere? Get reprints. You may have to pay for them. That's okay, they're worth it. Include that in your kit. Articles you've written. If you're an expert, you should have written articles. So write your articles. Doesn't matter where they're published. Doesn't matter if they're published. But include the articles in your packet. That shows credibility, shows expertise. Do you have tools that you give to your audience? Do you have any kind of charts? Do you have any kinds of handouts that you give people regularly as a take-home? If so, you can include those. Have you written any books? Throw the book into the packet. That greatly enhances your credibility, as Barbara mentioned. A demo DVD. This is video footage of you on stage. It needs to be in DVD format. No one uses videotapes anymore. It's all DVD. And it needs to be short. It's typically anywhere from 7 to 10 minutes. It's your best stuff on stage. The idea is to give the meeting planner an idea of what you'll be like on stage. And you may or may not include a fee schedule. Some people do, some people don't. There are two schools of thought. One is that a fee schedule gives people an idea up front what they're looking at, what they're dealing with, to help them decide if you're in their ballpark or not. Other school of thought is you don't want to give somebody the price until they know what the value is they're getting. So it's up to you. You can include it or not. It's an individual choice. One critical element here. Most of the things in your marketing packet are marketing copy. As I mentioned, most speakers can't write decent copy. That's a problem not just confined to speakers. Most people in general can't write decent copy. Most marketing professionals can't write decent copy. And when you learn what good copy is, You start to notice that all over the place. And it's one of the most critical skills for speakers. Part of my success comes from my ability to write good copy. When I do programs for organizations, for public events like Chambers of Commerce and others, their audiences are always bigger. I set record attendance for the events I speak at for those organizations because I can write great copy. I get hired because I write great copy. And I have a friend, Lori Morgan Ferrero, who is one of the nation's top copywriters. She is phenomenal. Now, you can hire someone to write your copy. I can do it. I charge thousands of dollars, and it's well worth it. Or you can learn to write it on your own. I have spent more than 10 years learning to write copy. It's one of the best investments of time and money I've ever made. I've asked Lori to let you get some of her stuff. So she's got 3 resources available to you. You've got this 2-page sheet on your tables. Does anybody here not have this sheet? Alan, you got it? There are 3 items on here. The first is the Insider Copywriting Formula. The second is the Red Hot Copy to Woo Your Target Market. The third is the Speed Copywriting Workshop Home Course. Now, you see there's a regular price and a today's price. The regular price, you can go to her website, redhotcopy.com, and get these things at the listed prices. I have asked Lori, as a favor to me, because I am her friend, to let you all get these things at a discount. So the first one's normally $247. You can get it today for $97. Second one is normally $347. You can get it today for $247. The third one's normally $14.97. You can get it today for $9.97. And I asked her to please include some extra stuff. So she's going to throw in a bonus. At the bottom of the sheet, there's a whole bunch of extra stuff that you'll get if you buy either of the second 2 packages. If you want these, take the second page, mark what you want, fill out the information, give it to me during the break. These specials are good today only. I'll take these second sheets and I'll fax them to Lori on Monday. That's how you get the special price. If you don't give them to me, you pay the regular price. They're worth it, the regular price. Her stuff is fantastic. I love her stuff. That's why I endorse it. But you can get today at the bargains. Final sheet, yes. She's in California. She rocks. And you can't hire her to write copy. She's too busy. But she's written copy from the top speakers in the country. Last page in your handout. Marketing tactics you can use to get your message out there once you've developed it. First one, free speeches. Barbara alluded to this earlier. That's where you start. We call it the rubber chicken circuit. You get chicken lunches and dinners, all these places, all the Kiwanis clubs, Rotary lines, etc. Speak for free every chance you get. It's exposure and it's practice. You need both of them. I've got a list, on a special report, a list of 28 things that you can get in exchange for a free speech. Anybody who buys any of Lori's products today, I'll send you that list as well. That list is worth thousands of dollars. I've gotten thousands in benefits from these tactics over the years. It's a list I've created that I've used over the years. Number 2, networking. Get involved with some of the meeting planning organizations. MPI, Meeting Professionals International. NSA, obviously. Chambers of Commerce. PCMA, the Professional Convention Management Association. Direct mail. This can be postcards, it can be letters. Advertisements. You can put ads in directories. You can put them in the magazines that reach your target audience. Trade shows. You can make cold calls. Not highly effective, but they do work. I know speakers that have spent time making cold calls and gotten bookings because of it. Sometimes you're the right person at the right place at the right time. Write articles. Articles are great exposure and they give you credibility. Send press releases. Make PR part of your overall marketing campaign. Do an e-zine. Have your website. Do a blog. You can do all 3 of those things. You can teach adult ed courses. These are also great ways to get exposure and practice, and you get paid. Not much, granted, but it's something. You can put on your own public seminars. There are 2 keys with putting on an effective public seminar. The first is your list. you have to have a good mailing list to promote to. And the other is you need to be able to write great copy to attract them to that event. Do research studies. Number 15 is bureaus. I'll talk for a second about this one because bureaus is what people see as the magic bullet. Everyone gets into the business thinks, oh, I'll just get a speakers bureau to represent me. No problem. Bureaus are like banks. They don't want you until you don't need them anymore. And it's understandable. You think about it from the bureau's perspective. A speaker's bureau makes their money as a percentage of the speaker's fee that they book. A bureau is an intermediary between a meeting planner and a speaker. So if I'm a meeting planner, I'm looking for a speaker, I don't know where to go, I might call a speaker's bureau. Say, I need a speaker on leadership. Well, they'll come back to me with some recommendations. And they get a percentage of that person's bookings. The bureau's not going to recommend you if they don't already know you are phenomenal on stage. Which means they don't want beginning speakers. They want experienced speakers that they can be certain are going to do a tremendous job for their client. So forget speakers bureaus. You're not ready for them yet. You'll know you're ready when they start calling you. Number 16, cooperative marketing. You and other speakers can work together to market each other. And the final one is to hire a salesperson. If you have the money, hire someone to do your sales and marketing for you. If you can afford it, by all means, do it. If you can't afford it, then focus on these other 15 items on this list. Went through a lot of stuff fast. Anybody have any questions before we finish up? Alan.
Can I recommend a book on the copyright?
Pardon?
Can I recommend a book?
Sure.
Words That Sell?
Absolutely. Great book.
And 4 Words That Sell.
Yeah.
You know, give some really great ideas and liven up your...
Yeah, that might be in the recommended resources. There's a list of recommended reading on the next page. It might be in there. I forget if I put it in there or not. I put a bunch of things in there that are really great resources for speakers. This is a great business. It's a tough business. It's a hard one to get started in. The key, though, is your marketing. The most successful people in this industry are not necessarily the best speakers. They're the best marketers. If you want to be successful, learn everything you can about sales and marketing. It doesn't matter what your expertise is. You have to be able to sell and market it. And if you can't sell what you do, you can't do what you sell. Thank you very much.